The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
ESPN NFL analyst Mike Clay is picking the New York Jets to win the Super Bowl. Why? I'll ask him why. He's going to join us. It's the Jake Asman Show. So let's hit it and get it started.
Man, our Jets are primed for a historic season. We bleed Jets green each and every day. This is not the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jets bandwagon is loaded. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go. Welcome in, everybody. Hit the like button. We got a fun episode planned for you today. And a reminder, the Jets did, in fact, have their first OTA practice open to the media. Robbie Sabo from Jets X Factor is there. He's going to join me around 3 p.m. Eastern on our second show of the day to recap and share some observations from the first media practice that was open from the New York Jets. Joining us right now is the author of a story that dropped last week on ESPN.com. You see the tweet from Mike right here. The headline, why the Jets? Yes, the Jets will win the Super Bowl this season. And Mike is nice enough to join the show right now. Mike, really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, of course. Happy to come on the show. It's always fun to come on the shows where I'm positive on a team because the reaction is generally a little different than when I'm maybe a little bit lower on a team. And look, over the years at times, I like to think of myself as a kind of an objective analyst. I put time in. I just don't, say, oh, this team's generating hype. I'm going to be on them this year and vice versa. I sit down and review the roster from top to bottom, compare all 32 teams. And when I'm done that work, some teams pop out as better than most people think and vice versa. So, there's been years where I'm lower on the Jets and Jets fans don't like me. That's happened plenty of times. This is not one of those years. I think I'll be pretty popular in Jet circles this time around.
Well, it's so interesting because, I have a line that I've said on ESPN. I've said it on Sirius. I say it on this show a lot. Like, if you remove the word Jets from the helmet and just look at the roster,
exactly,
it's as talented of a team as any. Obviously, the caveat being if Aaron Rodgers is Aaron and he's healthy, you basically did that exercise on a grander scale. You broke down the entire roster. So I kind of want to just start with that. As you were kind of going through this exercise, what immediately stood out about the Jets that a lot of people nationally aren't acknowledging?
Yeah, so I think the big difference from this last year to this year is the supporting cast offensively around Aaron Rodgers. So I think last year the Jets, I think I ranked them like in the 10 to 12 range. I thought they'd be a playoff team, but not necessarily a Super Bowl contender. And I think that's, where a lot of people's heads were. It's Aaron Rodgers. Offense is going to be great. There was a lot of hype in that regard, but just not enough attention paid, like I'm sure you did on your show, because you guys are following the Jets very closely, but on a national level, just not enough attention to the players around him. And I actually wrote in my season preview last year for the entire NFL that one of the biggest X factors in the season would be the tackle position for the Jets. And sure enough, not only the tackle position, but interior was a major problem as well.
Yes.
And obviously the Jets know that because they completely revamped the line during this past offseason, but they didn't just revamp it. They made it substantially better. So having a much better offensive line, perhaps 80% new starters from week one last year, and then adding guys like Mike Williams, Malachi Corley, around, not to mention a healthy Breece Hall. Remember, we didn't know what we were going to get out of him last year. Adding the line and all those skill position players along with Garrett Wilson and a healthy Hall and an underrated Tyler Conklin around Rodgers. Not to mention, if he misses a little time, you have Tyrod Taylor, a huge upgrade at the backup spot. Just that support cast around him kind of completes the picture for the offense and puts them in a position to be competitive week to week.
What was the reaction from non-Jet fans to the story so far?
Mostly they want to know what types of drugs I'm doing. To quote them, I've had that internally too. I'm doing appearances on other shows too, and they're like, "Stay off whatever you were doing before you wrote this article, but come on and talk about it." So, yeah, look, you hit the nail on the head. I don't care what the helmet says when I'm doing this exercise, when I'm studying these teams. I don't care. The league, it's not like the same team wins every year. Now, I mean, it's a weird time to say that because the Chiefs are winning every year, but that's not generally the case. I mean, the Chiefs were terrible for a long time. The Browns were terrible for a long time. They were really good for a long time, then terrible for a long time. The Patriots were a laughingstock until they became a powerhouse. This stuff changes quickly in the NFL, and if you just stick with your opinions from the year before and say, they didn't really have an exciting offseason, they're just going to stink again. I mean, you have to do better than that. You have to do better work than that, and objectively analyze all 32 teams. If you want to find those breakout teams or those bust teams, and I've had success with it over the last decade doing these exercises. It's helped with projecting win totals. It's helped for fantasy. It's helped for betting. You name it. So I just think the Jets are one of those teams that on paper are right up there. They're not just a top 10 team, a top 15 team. I think they're legitimately have a top 5 roster.
Of course, people are going to hear that and go, it's the Jets, same old Jets. And
exactly,
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of just like LOL Jets. And like I've always said, like being a Knicks fan and being someone that covers New York sports, you see it with the Mets, you see it with the Knicks, the Jets. There's like a stigma on these franchises that haven't won or have like the crazy controversial stories that surround them that like until you actually start winning, you can't change that narrative. So I appreciate you kind of going in depth and actually acknowledging, like this team won 7 games last year with the worst quarterback room maybe ever put together. They revamped the O-line. Aaron's back. And I think a lot of people probably just can't envision the Jets actually being good because it's been so long since they last made the playoffs.
Yeah, and a big part of that has been quarterback play, to your point. I mean, you look at QBR, they've been horrific in that category for like almost a decade. I mean, it's been such a long time. I actually wrote about that in the piece. I kind of broke that down. And that includes last year where they weren't just poor in QBR, quarterback play. They were by far dead last in quarterback play, quarterback efficiency last year. By far. It wasn't even close. And they won 7 games. They won 7-10. Why? Because another thing that's ignored, because everyone goes right to Aaron Rodgers might not be the same guy. He's 40 years old now. He's coming off the injury. The offensive line, they have Tyron Smith, but he's missed a lot of time. I mean, first of all, he played over 800 snaps at a high level last season, but besides the point. But if you focus in on all that and it just being the Jets and the Jets always blow it, that kind of stuff, if you're focusing on that, you're also forgetting about the defense, which is maybe the best defense in the NFL. And they returned pretty much everyone from last season. That's a huge reason they won 7 games last year. And they've been competitive the last couple of years, hanging with some good teams because that defense keeps games close. And now you're not going to have horrific quarterback play. I just don't know how the Jets are not going to be competitive. And you could say, they have to stay healthy. Every team has to stay healthy. I mean, great teams get destroyed by injuries all the time. Like the Jets are in the same category as everyone else. And I know you could say, well, it's a little different because of Rodgers. I get that. I can appreciate that, right? He had the bad year a couple years ago or down year, but we've seen that before. I mean, 5 years before that, people were like, it's over. Rodgers is falling off the cliff. He's getting too old. And then he won back-to-back MVPs. So we've seen this from him before. I know he's a little older. I know it's a major injury, but it's not like they need him running the ball. They need him in the pocket, throwing the ball to Garrett Wilson, getting to these skill guys. And by all accounts, 1 year ago today, he was ready to go. Like there was no doubt. You watched Hard Knocks, watched preseason, whatever it was. By all accounts, it was all systems go for this Jets offense. And I think we're going to see more of the same this year.
And even if he can't play, say, all 17 games, last year, the quarterback room outside of Rodgers, I mean, we just said it. It was historically bad. Tyrod Taylor's a real pro. If he had to play 3 games, you can go 2-1 with Tyrod Taylor. And this is a team that went 2-1 with Trevor Siemian last year. They won 3 of their final 5. Like, I hate to sound like the Jet homer, but my frustration doing national shows and talking with other teams' fans who just like dismiss the Jets is no one's celebrating 7-10. But if you could win 7 games the last 2 years with that situation at quarterback, if Aaron Rodgers is just average, they should at least be a playoff team. So I think that's kind of the question, right? What version of Aaron Rodgers do you think the Jets are going to be getting this year?
Yeah, and I did write about that as well. I think even if they get average Aaron Rodgers, this is still a contending team. We've seen that before. And, look at Detroit. Do we really think Jared Goff is a superstar quarterback? I don't think anyone really thinks that outside of Detroit. So, look, the Rams, Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the league, was done with them. Like, he wanted to move on and upgrade. to go elsewhere. But they have a really good supporting cast around him, a great offensive line, playmakers on the offensive side. The defense is now getting better. That's another conversation. But nonetheless, they have a good play caller, all the support around Goff to succeed. So even if Rodgers does drop off and he's not that MVP caliber player, this is still a team that can compete. To answer your question, though, which Aaron Rodgers is he? We don't know. Again, and I broke that down. That is the big question mark right now. Would it shock me if he plays at an extremely high level? No. I mean, this is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. We've seen quarterbacks pushing 40 or in this area have a high, put up big numbers as passers. So it's definitely possible. Is he going to be horrific? Did he just fall off a cliff and they're just going to be like, oh man, we just have to try to survive? Kind of like Peyton Manning's last season was a little bit like that, where the defense and the rest of the team kind of carried him to that Super Bowl. There could be that. But I think the most likely outcome is somewhere in the middle. Maybe he's the 10th best quarterback, the 12th best quarterback, 16th best, somewhere in that range. And if that's the case, I think you're going to come away happy. I think you're going to win double-digit games. And a part of that is, and maybe we'll get to this in a second, so I won't go too much deeper into it, is that I don't think the division around them is as strong as it's been the last couple of years. I mean, it's still good, don't get me wrong. You have some good teams, but not quite the elite rosters that we've seen from teams like the Bills. And honestly, I thought the Dolphins were loaded last year. They came out great early in the season, kind of fell off, but as the weather got colder. But if that happens again for Miami, it's great for the Jets.
No doubt. And they do play Miami last game of the regular season at MetLife. So you put Tua in cold weather. I mean, it doing all the fantasy coverage, Mike. I mean, he's never won a game when the temperature's below 45 degrees. I mean, you're right about the state of the AFC East, right? New England is in flux with a rookie quarterback coming in, new head coach. And Buffalo, they might still have the best player in the division in Allen, but the rest of their team is certainly suspect. I can't say they've gotten better. Maybe they're not going to be bad because they're still, led by a spectacular quarterback. But the Dolphins, everyone a year ago at this time, it's so funny how it works. Oh, if Tua could stay healthy. Ironically, he was one of the few starting quarterbacks in the league that did play every game. So to me, every time we talk about the Jets, it's like, if they're healthy. Well, I mean, a year ago, we were saying the same thing about Tua and Lamar Jackson. So it's such a year-to-year league. And I think if the Jets had done nothing besides they just got Aaron back, they could be better than a 7-win team. And I like what they've done, as you've already brought up, around the rest of the offseason. So kind of expand more on that, how the moves the Jets have made to get better and the state of the Dolphins and the Bills and what they've done this offseason.
Yeah, and you could play the injury game with those teams as well and get specific with it. I mean, Tyreek Hill's pushing age 30. You start to see maybe a slip there. The guy's builds his game on speed. What if he misses time? You could play that game with their offensive line, which isn't great. You could do it with their edge rushers. I mean, that's a big question mark. Their two best edge rushers suffered a torn ACL and a torn Achilles in the second half last season. And they bring in Shaq Barrett, who Tampa Bay moved on from, and drafted Chop Robinson. Like, they're just trying to survive at the edge rusher position. Xavier Howard's gone at corner. They still have a good corner situation. They do have good talented players on that side of the ball. But again, you can get picky with injuries. And then, for the Bills, I mean, I don't want to say complete defensive turnover, but major defensive turnover. A lot of their core players from the last 5 years or so are gone from the roster. They just, especially in the secondary, they just cleaned house. So that's going to look a lot different. Sean McDermott has done more with less for a long time, so I'm still confident they'll be a competent defense. But on paper, it's not anything that you're getting super excited about. And then offensively, again, look, you're right. They have Josh Allen that's going to keep them in contention every week, but the wide receiver position is not what it's been. Stephon Diggs, say what you want about him, slipping a little late last year. He's still a superstar wide receiver. Gabe Davis is gone as well. You're going to have a rookie in there. Curtis Samuel's a short-range player. Khalil Shakir. Bills fans think they have a superstar in their hands. I mean, you see my mentions about the Bills. They think they have a superstar in hiding. I'm not so sure. We need to see it first. But that could be a problem area for them. And that might not seem like a big deal, but look at the Chiefs last year. Their offense slipped from where it was the prior 5 years or so. I know they still won the Super Bowl, but the offense really took a huge step back in terms of EPA. And a lot of people pointed to the wide receiver position for the Chiefs as the problem there. So maybe that affects the Bills' offense here a little bit this season. So no doubt you could pick at the Jets here or there. You could also pick at the Bills, the Dolphins, the Chiefs, who lost certainly their best secondary player in L'Jarius Sneed. You could pick these teams all apart. No team is perfect top to bottom, but the Jets, in terms of just being, across the board, just having solid or really good players, they certainly fit that bill. So I think they're one of the best built rosters, certainly starting lineups in the league.
We're talking with Mike Clay, ESPN NFL Analyst. He wrote the story that came out last week, why he believes the Jets, that's right, the New York Jets, will win the Super Bowl this upcoming season. If you're tuned in live right now, hit the like button. And if you have a question for Mike, we'll get to it before we wrap up in just a little bit. Mike, I want to ask you about the Jets schedule here, because a lot of Jet fans have been debating, is it good or bad that they start the year with arguably the best team in the NFC on the road? I look at it like, look, you get it out of the way. In theory, maybe San Fran has a bit of a hangover in that game coming off the Super Bowl. You know that Tyron Smith will definitely be in that game to deal with Nick Bosa. And then after that, well, you still have to go on the road. You do get Will Levis and the Titans, then maybe Drake May and New England, Bo Nix and the Broncos, J.J. McCarthy or Sam Darnold and the Vikings. Like after week one, it does set up nicely for the Jets. What are your thoughts on the schedule here, specifically the first 5 weeks of the year?
Well, as much as I'd love to see the Jets, come out strong with a, start 6-0, 8-0, something, make me look smart. It's exciting to have this test in week one, because that's kind of going to see where they stand and give you an idea of frankly, if they stack up with one of the best teams in the NFL. In fact, Jets 49ers, I think, is a very possible Super Bowl matchup. So, believe it or not, this is the only game on the schedule that I have the Jets as an underdog at the moment. 40% win probability playing at this really talented 49ers team. But I'm pumped for it. There's no game. Like, I grew up in Pennsylvania. I grew up an Eagles fan. They're still the team closest to my heart. But that is the game I am anticipating the most for sure, to see how the Jets stack up. It reminds me of like a few years ago when I was high in the Browns and they played at the Chiefs week one and almost knocked them off. And that, was a bit of a heartbreaker. If you're on the Lions last year, they went into Kansas City and upset them in week one. And if you're on that bandwagon, you're feeling great about them knocking off, the best team that went on to win the Super Bowl. So that's exciting. And then look, even if they lose that game, the hope is that they're competitive, and then the schedule eases up for sure. I actually have them with the 9th easiest schedule. So you take away that Niners game after week one, they're going to have one of the easiest schedules going forward next season. So I think that's another reason that kind of separates them from teams like the Bills and Dolphins, because they were higher in the standings last year, which means they have tougher games this season.
When you look at the schedule, Mike, the Jets play on Thursday Night Football twice, but they're both at home. I know you study this for a living and how that impacts win probability and whatnot. Can you explain just the significance of the fact the Jets will get both their Thursday night games at home?
Yeah, so definitely factoring in home versus visitor into the standings. It doesn't affect the win total a lot because it's a full sample. So week to week it does, but over a full season doesn't affect a lot. But yeah, certainly having being at home and cutting down on that travel in the short week has obvious benefits. I mean, you've heard players talk about it before, how grueling that is to play on that short schedule. So them not having to travel while they have their bodies heal up is obviously substantial.
No doubt about that. And then, as far as the Jets having a London game against Minnesota on October 6th, Robert Saleh spoke today and said they preferred to have the bye later in the year as opposed to taking the bye in week 6. What are your thoughts on that? Go ahead.
That's the comments from a head coach that has aspirations of going to New Orleans for the Super Bowl, right? Get that late, if you're just playing the regular season, sure, take it early, take middle. But if you plan on playing in week 19, 20, 21, 22, you want that late bye week to heal up for sure. So I love that. I love that. I always feel, again, as a fan of a team that's had a lot of success in the Eagles, I always like the late bye week, because then you get a little break for that late season run, and then, of course, the playoffs.
Before we get to some questions with Mike, before we wrap with him, I'm curious your thoughts on the Jets head coach, Robert Saleh. He is, of course, entering year 4. He hasn't had a winning season yet. I always try to add context by saying, look at the quarterback situation. Last year was supposed to be the year they're a playoff team, and Rodgers went down on the opening drive. So that, of course, factors in. But your thoughts on Saleh, because there's a lot of Jet fans who do not like him, do not think he's a good coach, and think that he could be the reason why this team doesn't win.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for him a little bit. I mean, that's brutal last year. I felt almost like I was on the Jets bandwagon a little bit last year, because from a fantasy perspective, I was infamously heavy on Garrett Wilson. We had a lot of fun with that on TV. We did our big marathon draft, and I took Garrett Wilson at the end of the first round trying to snipe Dan Graziano, and we had a lot of fun with it. So I was like, you got to be kidding me. The first drive of the season. So you can only imagine what hardcore Jets fans were thinking at that time. But yeah, so it's what was the question now? I'm totally spacing here.
It's just basically, do you think he has shown enough as a coach where they could win with him?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I was just living in my heartbreak, as I'm sure you have, and so many others for a second there. But yeah, look, I think that's a bad break. I think this gives him an honest run. I mean, if they underperform this year, you have to start thinking about a change there. But I don't think it's him. Look, I'm impressed by him. He went to the 49ers. Defense wasn't great initially. They built it into an absolute powerhouse. That's how he got a job at the Jets. Remember the first year that he was head coach of the Jets, they were dead last in defensive EPA. He took a lot of criticism, including from some of my colleagues. And he turned it around quickly. He got a lot of young players experience that first year, year two. A lot of those guys are still on the roster as backups, frankly. The cornerback position, especially, you had guys that were playing major roles and then kind of took a back seat. And then they brought in more core star players and built this thing up. And now they've been one of the best in the NFL the last 2 years. So that's really been impressive. Offensively, it's so hard to put together a great offense without a quarterback. And they tried to fix that, and it obviously was a nightmare, bad luck situation last year. So we'll see here in 2024. This is his big test, but I like him. I think that he's done a lot with a little. He's maximized the talent on the defensive side of the ball. I think a lot will come down to Nathaniel Hackett offensively to get the offense going, but it's really going to come down to Aaron Rodgers, right? If they get the most out of him, they're going to be in a good spot offensively.
We're talking with Mike Clay, and we'll get to some Q&A. We got a super chat that will start us off. Today's Jake Asman Show presented by my friends at Fanatics Jets Fans. Right down below, officially licensed Jets gear. Get the new jerseys, a.k.a. the old jerseys, the legacy jerseys. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner. They have them in Joe Namath style as well. You name it. Fanatics has it all. They have the new legacy hats. They have the official draft hats. Check it out. Fanatics, link right down below. You click on anything, it takes you to the website. Even if you don't get that item, this show as a Fanatics affiliate will still get credit. So shout out to Fanatics for being part of our program. All right, Mike, got some questions from the audience. FPP starts us off with a super chat that says, Mike, my prediction is Packers versus Jets in the Super Bowl. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so that's a fun one for sure. I'd love to see that. And also, like, kind of throwing it back, to the early Super Bowls. Of course, you mentioned the last time the Jets, you mentioned Joe Namath. The last time they won the Super Bowl was, of course, when Namath was the quarterback, Super Bowl III, that historic upset, one of the biggest games in NFL history. And then before that, the Packers won the first two. So that'd be fun for the history of the NFL. Obviously, I think the Jets can get there. The Packers, they're one of them teams I think are maybe a little overhyped. And they're part of the reason for that is that division. They're going to be dealing with the Lions, who I think are the best team on paper, much better defensively, and the Bears are going to be good. I mean, around Caleb Williams, they have one of the best rosters in the league. So that's the challenge for the Packers. But if Jordan Love continues to ascend, they're definitely going to be a contender. So could I see it? Absolutely.
Question from VR who says, is Garrett Wilson wide receiver 1 with A-Rod this year in fantasy? What is his ADP in a 12-team league?
Yeah, we're not getting a discount, unfortunately, on Garrett Wilson. I mean, maybe a couple spots in drafts if people are like, even with poor quarterback play, he hasn't gotten it done, or people don't believe in Aaron Rodgers, whatever it may be. But I'm in. I think he's a sleeper to lead the NFL in touchdown receptions. I think he's the real deal. He's 4th in targets since he entered the league, and his other stats don't stack up because of the quarterback play. So I'm in. Like I'm fully in that bed of it's the quarterback's fault with Garrett Wilson. I think he's the real deal. I think we've seen plenty of evidence of that. Let's just get him a quarterback that can get him the football. I remember last year Aaron Rodgers apologizing to him when he got hurt because it's like, man, this was about to be your big breakout year. And look what happened. He knew, everybody knew, but Wilson's fought through. He stacked up some numbers. He's gotten experience. I do think he's wide receiver 1, and his ADP, again, he's going to be drafted probably around wide receiver 8 to 12 in that range. So maybe 2nd round draft pick. So he's going to be expensive, but I think he pays it off.
Your thoughts on Breece Hall as we talk about the other, stud, draft mate with Garrett Wilson, of course. I mean, Breece Hall last year had 1,600 yards from scrimmage, Mike, and he had a snap count at the beginning of the year, and he was coming off a torn ACL. I think he is a sneaky candidate to be the offensive player of the year in the league. I think we're going to be talking about him at the end of this year like we talk about Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love him. Loved his production at the college level. Then he goes to the pros and just picks up where he left off. Obviously, the major injury, but I think he's the real deal. I actually on ESPN Bet Live, I went on to talk, my favorite plays for offensive player of the year, and I did Bijan Robinson and Breece Hall. I think I'm with you. I think you can get Hall at like 20 or 30 to 1, something like that. Is where he falls. So I'm with you. I have him, again, pushing 1,600 yards, over 10 touchdowns this season. You might not have to throw it to him quite as much this year. And that's kind of good. You don't want to overwork a guy like Breece Hall. I mean, they don't have a great number 2 option, so he's going to be a featured player. So talk about fantasy football. I mean, that's an early first round pick. The guy's superstar upside.
Super chat from V-Man. Did your coworkers ask you if you were feeling okay when you predicted the Jets as Super Bowl champs? I hope you're right. I have a 20-year aged rum waiting to open if the Jets win the Super Bowl.
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I am doing. We're doing this on Tuesday, and I'm doing Bet Live again later. And yeah, they were like, "Were you on something when you wrote this thing? Like, are you sure you want to come on and talk about this?" But yeah, again, just I'm excited for it. I'm going to be on the bandwagon with all you Jets fans this year too, because I'll tell you what. I care about the result. Like, I take this seriously, and I want to be right. And if I'm not right and the Jets are struggling, it's going to pain me all year long, and I'm going to hear about it from Bills fans and Dolphins fans. So I'm with you. Like, I want them to do well, and if they win, I'll be celebrating. I'll be down at the parade. Don't worry about that.
You're going to be beloved in the fan base if you're right, Mike. And you could basically be what Kendrick Perkins was to Knicks fans, right? He had no association with the team. He was the first to talk about how underrated and impressive they are, and now he's beloved by the entire city. You could be that for this fan base.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. Yeah.
Big fella writes in. We're going to wrap up with Mike Shirtley here. Thoughts on Mike Williams being ready for week 1?
Yeah, I mean, early season injury. So if he's not, there's a problem. That I would be really nervous if there's reports that he might not be ready for week 1. That would be a major problem. He's still in his prime years. I know that he has had injury issues where he's left a lot of games early, but he hasn't actually missed a lot of games prior to this recent string of injuries, and the major one last year. But the good news is you have Garrett Wilson, you have Corley, you have guys that played a ton of snaps last season that can get involved and kind of hold down the fort for him as he gets up to speed. But I expect, I'm optimistic about him this year. I expect him to be ready to go for week 1 and pretty much a full go for this team.
Super chat from VR. Malachi Corley, sneaky OW, run/pass PPR for fantasy.
Yeah, he's a fun one. I worry about his ceiling. Like, you really, to be utilized the way he's going to be utilized and be a fantasy factor, you kind of need to be Deebo Samuel, or, we saw Jaden Reed kind of do it last year for the Packers, but he required some really unsustainable touchdown luck to be that good from a fantasy perspective. So I like it. I think it was a nice fit for this offense because you have Wilson and Williams on the perimeter, and then you could stick Corley inside and have a lot of fun with him. Maybe it gives Breece Hall a break from the occasional carry as well, because they can get creative and get the ball in Corley's hands. So like that. I think there's a savvy pick and a really good fit for this offense. Final
question. This one's from Sarah McCoy. Which player on offense and which player on defense has the biggest impact for the Jets in 2024?
Well, he talked about offensive look, I'm going to cross off Aaron Rodgers because that's so obvious, but I'll say Tyron Smith for sure. Again, over 800 snaps with Dallas last year, played at a high level. I think that's huge. Fixing the tackle position. I like Morgan Moses as well. So underrated. So I love what they did on the offensive line. Could be a top 5 unit for sure. So I'll say Tyron Smith for sure. Defensively, I could say like the defensive tackles behind Quinnen Williams. He's a superstar, but the other guys just haven't gotten the job done. So they need to get something out of one of those guys. But I'll say Will McDonald. We saw Jermaine Johnson make a leap last year after not playing a ton as a rookie. You saw that ascent. You have another first-round pick that didn't play a lot last year. You need him to make the ascent, especially because your depth at edge isn't as strong as it was last year. There's a reason, like, he didn't play much, and Bryce Huff was rotational at times. Like, they had so much depth. They don't have quite as much this year. So I think Will McDonald's a big one. I want him to jump in there with Hassan Reddick and Jermaine Johnson and be an impact player. So I think those are huge. I could give you a lot on defense because Chuck Clark as well. I mean, he's really good with Baltimore. Now he's coming off a major injury, and safety is probably we'll say, weak spot of the defense. Getting a strong season out of Chuck Clark would be huge.
I'll give you an underrated fantasy option. Jason Brownlee, name to watch for the Jets this summer.
All right. I mean, if look, you don't want him on the field, and the reason is you want Wilson, Williams, and Corley on the
Correct.
field. If they're not on the field, then you're like, oh.
I'm just telling you, it's the Jets, and we live in the world of injuries, so just be prepared for Jason Brownlee to have to play.
No, we're not talking about that. Remember, injuries across the board. It could happen to anyone. Jets need to stay healthy, but every team needs to stay healthy. It's just the nature of the beast in this league.
You see that, folks? It's not just me saying that. Mike Clay, who does this for the entire league, is saying it. Mike, welcome to the Jet fan base. Great job, man. Thanks so much for coming on.
Let's go. You got it anytime, Jake. Take care.
And where can people find you later today? You said you're going to be on ESPN Bet.
Oh, yeah. I'll be on ESPN Bet Live later tonight talking about, you guessed it, the New York Jets hype. That have been doing the rounds as of late. So Yeah, we'll do that later. It's going to be a good one.
Mike, appreciate you, man. Good luck.
You got it. Take care.
Mike Clay joining us there. Great stuff from Mike. He is awesome. Obviously, if you're a fantasy football fan, you know all about his great work, but he does an excellent, excellent job covering the entire league. And I mean, he's been telling you right there what I've been saying. Remove the word Jets from the helmet. Just look at the roster. They are a very, very good football team. And now it's time to win. It's bottom line. No excuses. Time to win. Let's take your calls. Gusbuster Hotline. Read your super chats as well. Here we go, baby.
If you go to gusbuster.com, you could purchase the best umbrella in the universe. And you could use the promo code Jake to get 15% off on any of your umbrellas.
Ricky NY starts us off. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, what's happening, Jake? We will see how the brand new Wi-Fi does today. Hopefully better than that old stuff that I had. And wow, man, Mike Clay bringing it. Like, how is he so on point when the rest of the media has got it so wrong? And you know what? Don't remove that word Jets from the helmet. You leave it right there because we need everybody to know. And man, I'm just more and more pumped for the year as time goes on. I can't wait. And Breece Hall is going to be RB1, hands down. I think he is going to have a monster year, and I am certainly looking forward to it. So how do I sound? Is this better than the normal?
It's definitely better than what it's been. There were like a couple moments where we heard the little robot noise, but for the most part, Ricky, I mean, pretty good.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Jake. Appreciate it. As always, great stuff, and go Jets.
And Ricky, when you announce the big projects you're working on, you got to come on the show and talk about it, all right?
Okay. I definitely will. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Ricky NY checking in with better Wi-Fi. How about that? TC writes in, I just joined. Any duck sightings yet? Hey, Scotty, where you at? Are you still in the park? All right, more calls right now. Scott is on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. Hello, Scott.
Hey, what's up, brother? I'm at a park right now, and I want to ask people if there are any Jet fans out here. But
are you in New York?
Yeah, it's in Saratoga Springs, which is like about 30 minutes north of Albany. You go right down the highway, easy drive. But yeah, it's really nice here. Oh, hey, wait a minute. Maybe we have a Jet fan. Hey, come back here. Are you a Jet fan?
Oh my God.
No, you are Affleck. See, and maybe you are. I guess not. Probably not. Hey, who this follows Bobby Midnight? This is Jet talk here. Hey, I'll probably get in trouble, you know. So yeah, send Alan to the hole. Get that clown in there. And you know what? Put him.
Oh, we lost Scott. Man. I don't know what to say. I still don't know what to say. That's one of the weirder calls I've ever taken. I've taken a lot of them. MC says, my prediction is that Sauce gets his first interception after 2 years in the league. He's had multiple interceptions. What are you talking about? His rookie year, he had, I think, 2 picks. Should have had 3. One of them got taken away on replay. Swamp writes, and by the way, he was still first team All-Pro this year without having a single pick. Why? Oh, means no one throws his way. That changes this year, I hope, when they let him shadow number 1 receivers. Swamp Ranger says, is Allen still melting in the hole? Yes. It's a 24-hour hole sentence. He got sent in during the afternoon stream, so maybe we hear from Allen when we talk with Robbie Sabo after Jet minicamp or OTAs later. So there you go. More calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is Julian. What's up, Julian?
Yes, the killer jacket has arrived. How's it going, Jake?
Looks good, man.
Yes, sir. So what did Allen say to get him inside the hole this time?
Well, he wished injury upon Knicks players, and Bobby Midnight basically won the battle against him yesterday, had the receipts, won the fight, and we took a poll, and the Asmaniacs voted Allen to go into the hole for 24 hours. It was a fair, it was democracy.
You know what? Fuck Allen. That's what I say. But my point is, with OTA starting, Rodgers looking good, I'm just praying that we start out strong, and I'm predicting we win week 1. We start out with a bang, because if we win week 1 against the Niners in Santa Clara, that changes the narrative. The narrative changes when the Jets go out, no injury to no major player, or any player for that matter. We play a clean game, Saleh coaches a clean game, and we just win. We beat Shanahan in Santa Clara. It'll be like how the Lions did the Chiefs last year in Kansas City. I like what I've been hearing from these pundits, these media analysts, Chris Canty of all people, who's still, by the way, paying Eli Manning royalties on that ring of his, want to just trash the Jets. But you take away the Jets, you put this roster on any other team, they're automatic Super Bowl contenders, in my opinion.
Look, ultimately, I think if you just look at this roster, they have built a Super Bowl contending roster, Julian. The key, as it is with every team, is the health of the franchise quarterback. That's it. That's really what it comes down to for the Jets.
I would rather take Tyrod Taylor than anything Zach Wilson has to offer.
Of course. If they had Tyrod last year, they probably are a playoff team.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I was a big Zach Wilson truther coming out of college. I was a big Zach Wilson fan until I think it was the Patriot game in Foxborough. I think it was the 2022. That was it for me.
He lost.
That was it for me.
Too. That was it. It was. That was the last game, because I knew there's just no way any good quarterback would ever have a game like that. It just is never going to work.
Or not take any accountability for his poor performance, and then not take up for the defense, because the defense did their job that game. Zach Wilson is not a quarterback, and I'll be surprised. And like I said, like you said the last time I talked to you, I'd be surprised if he makes the roster in Denver. I'd be shocked.
I think Stidham beats him out, Julian. And if that happens, do they keep 3 quarterbacks, or do they just cut him and only carry 2? I mean, I've said it. I don't think Zach Wilson is on the Broncos, and if he is, he's the 3rd quarterback. I can't wait for the preseason. They'll have like one good drive, and then the Wilson Truthers are going to be back. Oh, I can't wait to drink their tears.
It's time for another V-Man call. Hopefully he's not sleeping. Adios mío.
What's up, Jay? How you doing?
V-Man, how are you?
I'm good. People were asking if I was going to open that rum before anytime soon. No, I'm not. You can see it's still sealed, and mind you can say that this. Do you have a specialty liquor that you're keeping closed for when the Jets win?
I do. Big fella got it for me. We will be opening this up when the Jets are AFC East champions.
Well, I got a shot of tequila for that, but this is staying closed until the Jets win the Super Bowl. And if you want, and to promote you want to sign up for Jake's Patreon, you can actually watch me bottle this in the Gator compilated video of my vacation.
I look forward to seeing the final video.
Yeah, no, but honestly, yeah, I'm glad that you brought him on. I enjoy bringing him on and his talking points. I mean, it's absolutely correct. I mean, the only reason people look down on the Jets is because of the name, the Jets, and the year, and all the dark years of ineptitude and everything. But let's be honest, there were plenty of other franchises have had dark spells like the Jets have had.
The Chiefs were the same exact franchise as the Jets before Patrick Mahomes. They won Super Bowl IV the year after the Jets and had not been back. And then they got Patrick Mahomes, and they're a dynasty. Like these things always go in cycles. Eventually, it will be the Jets' time, and I hope it's this year.
Eventually you break through. It's like the thing is, and yeah, they're right. The Jets are incredibly talented. I mean, they're stacked. I will say, I feel like we're gonna surprise people and win opening night. I feel like we're going to win the opening night against the Niners. I think we're going to go on a nice, strong run, like I said, because we got that nice, probably start out. I think we'll win our first, 6 or so games. I think we'll probably eventually have a slip-up somewhere. Not exactly sure where, but I feel like probably somewhere around after that stretch, maybe Buffalo, maybe Pittsburgh, I don't know. There'll be probably that slip-up game where you just kind of just fall asleep a little because you get a little calm and relaxed in where your position is. But like I said, I feel like we're going to end the year strong. I feel like this is the year we finally win the division. We're going to probably be, I think, maybe one of the top seeds. I definitely, with our schedule, as long as we can take advantage of our soft schedule, we should be one of the top 2 seeds in the conference. And from there, it's just, it's a shot. We got as much of a shot as anybody to win the Super Bowl from that point on.
You got to get into the playoffs first. I want to win the division first because that sets you up with a home playoff game and a better path to potentially winning it all. So, look, they have the talent. Got to get injury luck on their side. The Knicks had the talent, too, to go a lot further than where they ended up, and injuries killed them. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you need luck along the way.
The Knicks were a perfect example of Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
No doubt. Now, V-Man, the question everyone wants to know is, how is V-Mom?
She's doing fine right now. She's just fine.
And how was your overnight shift the other night?
Oh, it was not bad. It was like, right now I'm just getting back into the routine of everything. So first few days back have been a little bit challenged to get adjusted to, but I'll be fine in a couple weeks.
And then my final question for you is, how is the campaign trail?
We now go live to our political expert, Vincent.
You want to be a real political party, target areas where you can win. Until then, you're going to be the political clown show that every American and everyone on the left is going to laugh at. So, that's all.
Helping us change the world. Thank you, V-Man.
It's going fine. I was actually talking about with my sister the other day about doing a paper on doing a paper on the economics of Puerto Rican independence. So, and the whole thing it was a paper based on the problem with that pro-independence movement in Puerto Rico has been always based on the cultural aspect and not enough on the economic aspect. And so it's a whole paper on how they need to. Actually, if people are asking, I have a sister. I have 2.
Are you the oldest or the youngest or middle?
Middle. I have an older sister and I have a half sister in Florida.
Okay. Do you call them V-sis?
No, I call them by their names.
Interesting. Maybe they'll call in one time.
Probably not. This is not their type. I haven't seen my half sister in 10 years.
Really?
Well, like I said, I haven't seen her because my parents have been separated since like a month after I was born. So, like, I don't really keep in much touch with my father's side of the family these days.
Gotcha. All right. Well, V-Man, thank you for the time.
All right, talk to you later.
That's the end of that V-Man call. Now he can go back to sleeping.
The great V-Man, everybody. One of the greats. Mr. Bonesy writes in, the one thing we can all agree about Zach Wilson is we love his taste in women. Yeah, I've never had any issue with anything Zach Wilson has done in that area. If he was better at football, it wouldn't matter. Super chat from Golden Robert. The Knicks failed to get the ball to Patrick Ewing. I read this one because you paid for it, but I have no idea how this is relevant to anything that has been discussed in the show today so far. Patrick Ewing was at a couple of the playoff games. That's all I really got for you on that one. More calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is Rob, the Jet fan from Glenhead. Hello, Rob.
Jake, how's it going, buddy?
What's up, Rob?
I tell you, could you just imagine how much the narrative would change, Jake, if we managed somehow to beat the 49ers, being that we're slightly more talented or we got them really early or turnovers or whatever. The defense kind of like dominated and Aaron Rodgers did enough to win. How much do you think the narrative would change from all these naysayers, Canty and Wright and all these idiots? You think winning that first game immediately, the media would start saying, hey, what's going on here? Yeah, maybe the Jets are the team, because you know that not everyone is on the same page as us of how successful the Jets can possibly be. But I'll ask that question to you first before I get to my other points. How much do you think the narrative would change if we won this game?
It would change from the standpoint that people would have to accept, wow, maybe the Jets are a legitimate Super Bowl contender. It also would depend, I guess, how they won. Like, are they winning with Aaron playing well? Did like something kind of fluky happen with like an injury to a key play? Like it would depend a little bit on that, but like, I don't know. Who cares, man? They would still have 16 other games after that. If they lost week 2, what did it really mean? Remember the Cowboys were anointed when they won their first 2 weeks last year? Everyone's saying, oh, this is the year. They blew out the Giants. They blew out the Jets. And then they got smoked by Josh Dobbs and the Cardinals week 3. So it's a week-to-week league.
Yeah, I know. The reason why I bring it up, Jake, excuse me. The reason why I bring it up is because with the Jets, all eyes are on the Jets because Aaron's finally back. He only had 4 plays. So more eyes are going to be on our team because they're expecting all these things to supposedly happen. So I think we're definitely under the microscope, regardless if we like it or not, we are. So that's the reason why I asked the question. I wanted to say that I'm happy they put Allen in the shadow realm. He deserved it.
He's in
Bobby
the hole.
In a hole. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, that's right. The hole. I'm loving that hole. What is a sodomite? When you say sodomite,
You're going to have to ask the warden from Shawshank.
yeah, I'm gonna have to ask that. I was like, what the heck is a sodomite? But that's kind of cool. I like that. What was I going to say? Bobby ripped Allen out a new asshole. I was laughing hysterically.
He did. He sure did.
And then with the duck, with Scott yesterday, when he's chasing these ducks around, and oh God, it's like incredible. I was laughing my ass off. Oh my God! Only on your show, Jake. Only on your show. June 20th, you're having a
Long Island meetup, Rob. Stay tuned for more information.
Yeah, I want to hear about it. I'll definitely make it there in Hicksville. I'm wondering like where in Hicksville, but okay, but it sounds good to me. I'm down for that.
Be ready, Rob.
Yeah, I'll be ready. And I like the takes from the NFL guy today and stuff. Hopefully, fingers crossed that this year's our year, Jake. This year's our year, buddy.
Let's go, Rob. I hope you're right. From your lips to God's ears. Big fella with a super chat. What's your go-to breakfast sandwich? Bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll. That's my go-to, the classic. I think we're just doing an Ask Jake Asman anything today, not Jet related, because this question is, Jake, how do you have your steaks? Medium rare or well done? Medium rare. Come on, well done? Can't do well done. Super chat just coming in here from Golden Robert. Jets go 3 wins, 1 in NFC East, win division, 12 wins. Bills Fish go 2-2. I think you mean the AFC East, Golden Robert. If the Jets go, they play 6 division games. I don't understand your super chat. I think if the Jets go 4-2 in the AFC East, I think they could win the division, assuming they win at least 11 games. I think 11 is the number to win the division with a 4-2 divisional record. They do that, I think they win the AFC East. That to me is the key. Bills and Dolphins can't go 2-2 in the division. Mr. Bonesy writes in, Jake, blondes or brunettes? Yes. More calls right now. 3 siblings Jay joins us. Hello, Jay.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you? Where are you calling us from?
Good,
Pizza Hut
man.
again?
Pizza Hut, yes, sir.
Let's go, baby. Nobody out pizzas the Hut.
Yes, sir. So listen, I have a few points I want to ask you. The first one is regarding this season, right? The Jets should end up 8-3, 9-2 at the beginning. Like that should be an expectation based on the schedule that they have. Now, I'm not going to go as far as JJ to say they need to get fired if they're not 10-1. But the way our schedule is set up, we have a lot of favorable games in the beginning of the year to go 8-3, 9-2. I feel like if we're the team that we want to be, that's important to get up to that great start. The second part I want to bring up is the 49ers. What scares me about them, I know they have Debo, I know they have Brandon, but it's Christian McCaffrey, man. And our Jets defense, what's been our Achilles heel for the last 2 or 3 years, stopping the run, getting running backs in space. And that's the biggest part. We want to go ahead and win that game. We have to stop the run. We have to take them out. I feel like our passing stats are, how can I, they're not accurate because teams, what they like to do is like run the ball. If you're running the ball constantly, why would I pass the ball on Sauce and DJ Reed and Michael Carter? So that is going to show me this year if we're a good team. We can stop the run. I know we got a few defensive tackles. That's the biggest part for me, man, is stopping the run. I want to ask you a Nick point really quick while I have you on the line. Now, the season was very hard for me. I tried to not get emotionally invested just because of what was happening. You know, we was injured and there's a lot of things going on. So I kind of didn't want to talk myself in the ledge that the championship was on possible this year. But we still have a lot of time. We have money. We can go ahead and get a star. Honestly speaking, I don't want Donovan Mitchell with Jalen Brunson. I want a bigger wing. I know we have to sign OG, but what's your views on getting Paul George for 2 or 3 years? Go ahead and try to win this thing.
Well, it depends what it would cost. I mean, if Paul George wants to play for less money and you could just sign him as a free agent without trading away assets, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't think I want him if I got to give up a ton. I think I would rather go in a different direction.
I agree with you. I agree, yeah. So that's how I feel, man. Just want to go ahead and shout out my kids really quick. We got championship weekend for I-9 Sports. Both of my daughters and my sons are going for the championship. So let's just wish them good luck, man, and thank you again, Jake, for the time.
Jay, you're the man. And look, one of these days I'm stopping by that Pizza Hut. I'm telling you.
You take care, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Jay. Good luck to your kids. That's awesome. Look, his point about the run defense, here's why I think it will be better this year. You're playing with more leads. Teams aren't going to be able to run the ball on you. I think there were moments where the Jets' run defense had problems. I don't think they're nearly as bad as it gets discussed. You got to find something to nitpick with this team. And that would be the thing on defense, but I don't think it's going to be a big issue. I really don't. They'll be fine. They'll be playing with more leads. They were just trying to run out the clock on the Jets. Bang Mateo says 9 wins, Hackett and Saleh will cost us 1 to 2 wins, in my opinion. Shocking that Bang Mateo is Debbie Downer on the Jets. I don't think Hackett could cost them wins as long as Aaron's playing. It's Aaron's offense. He calls the shots. Curly says, Jake Dunkaroos, yay or nay? I haven't had them in a while, Curly, but yay. FPP says, do you fold your pizza? As opposed to what? Using a fork and knife? Yeah. I know you're a Packer fan, FPP. I guess in Wisconsin, they don't have good pizza, right? You guys just eat cheese. But let me tell you, man, you fold your pizza, man. It's a New York slice. Come on. You got it on the plate. Fold this. I mean, yeah. If you use a fork and knife to eat a regular slice of pizza, I mean, we got problems. Earlier, I was asked the question by Mr. Bonesy, blonde or brunette, to which I replied, yes. Taylon Berkston wrote, if you look at Jake and think he gets those choices, I don't know what to tell you. Well, I'm sorry to have to break the news to you on the show, Taylon. The last night was a late night for me. Ask your mom how it went. I'll leave it at that. On that note, back to the calls we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan joins us. What's up, Jonathan?
How you doing?
What's up, man?
Not much. I'm just talking to agree with the fact that we are probably Super Bowl contenders. I really do believe in the fact that bare minimum we should be in the AFC Championship this year, and if not, there should be changes in the coaching staff. 100%. I do agree in the fact that we shouldn't change anything with offensive coordinator this year because who's going to call the plays? Who's going to do all of that midseason? And Aaron Rodgers is honestly doing more than half the work to begin with. So it doesn't make that much of a difference this year. But next year and the year after that, if we're not making to the playoffs or we're not making a deep run in the playoffs, I think Robert Saleh is on the hot seat. I think Nathaniel Hackett's out of the building. But, I mean, I like Robert Saleh, but results are results. And with the roster that we've constructed, you look at the season, I think maybe before the bye, 1 reasonable loss. After the bye, 3 reasonable losses. With the rough schedule after the bye, I think really is what you're looking at. But if you're losing more games than that, especially if you lose 5 after the bye, 3 or 4 before, that's on the coaching. That's not the players. This roster is stacked.
Yeah, look, I mean, if you look at the pre-bye schedule, I think 8-3 is a fair expectation. And then if you go 3-3 over the final 6 post-bye, that's 11-6. If the division record's 4-2, I think you're AFC East champions. That's kind of like the roadmap in my mind when I look at the schedule.
Exactly. And I mean, because who do you expect to lose to in the first games other than maybe Houston, Miami, or not Miami? I'm sorry, I was looking at one of the Patriot games. I mean, I don't want to lose to New England, but it just seems they just have our ticket. It just seems to be the way it goes. But hopefully, with
not
Mayo
anymore.
Being there, it changes.
Not anymore.
Exactly.
They beat the New England with Trevor Siemian in Belichick's last game. They don't have to worry about that streak now. Which, by the way, thank God they won that game. Imagine the storylines going into a Thursday night game with the Jets have lost to this team 15 straight times. You don't have to deal with that. You just handle your business. You're at home, short week, win the game, get the mini bye, then beat up on Sean Payton and the Jets. It's set up for them, I think, objectively speaking, to be 4-1 potentially going into that Bills game on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and I don't think we're losing to the Bills either on October 14th. I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think they have the roster.
October 6th, but yes. Yep.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah. I really don't believe that they're going to beat us.
No, you're right. I'm blind, actually. I was looking at the wrong date. My fault. You're right. It's October 14th.
But yeah, I really don't think they have the roster to beat us. They lost their safeties. They lost their receivers. They're not the roster to beat us anymore. They're a roster that's going to contend for second and third place in this division. I think Miami's also that team, and I think we're built to be that team as well. I don't think there's really a far-fetched number one team, but I think there's some teams that are fighting to, halfway through the season, one of us are going to come out number one and finish out the year. But I think for the last end of the year, two teams will be fighting for that number 2 spot and not looking the best. I really think it's going to be between Miami and Buffalo. That may be because I'm a Jets fan, but truly I believe it's just because Miami's just a choke job and Buffalo's roster just looks horrible, honestly.
I still think it's better than you're saying, Jonathan, but I think the Jets are the best team in the AFC East. I think they have the best roster. Aaron's got to stay healthy, though. I mean, that's it. But as Mike Clay said, and I've been saying it, we'll say the same thing about Josh Allen and Tua. That's how it works. Tom writes in, bang, 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 Jake's Monday night. Yeah, Talon, man, I'm sorry to do this to you. Little Mike Breen. Bang, bang! More calls right now. Kig Lowski's up next. What's up, Kig?
Jake, my brother. I just want to start off by saying congratulations on the ass. I'm sure Taylor's mother was sweet. I just want to say, man, I wanted to hop on here because, man, it's too much child talk that I was hearing this morning. Look, the child is gone, and y'all was saying his name. We got to have a meter on where the child talk got to stop, okay? It was too much child talk. He's trash. Please, get him out of your mind, people. Get him out of your mind. All right. As far as the schedule and going, I'm not worried about nobody on this schedule because the hardest game on this schedule is the first game of the schedule. So I'm really not worried. At the end of the day, man, this team just has to be primed and ready. Okay. The coaching staff has to get them ready. All right. JD got the groceries. Now it's time to cook, baby. All right. At the end of the day, let's get these boys primed and ready. Let's get them healthy. All right. I just want to rapid fire off of a few things. Scott, don't you be chasing them ducks in the park and cooking them in your kitchen. All right. I'm sure you make a good duck, son. Hey, just don't get them from the park. All right, Scott. Hey, Allen, protect your hole in the hole. Yes.
Let's go, Kig. I love it. Tremendous. Allen will be back, but he's still serving his 24-hour sentence. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Anything Jet-related or anything related, I guess, is on the table today. If you missed it earlier, Mike Clay, who wrote the story on ESPN.com, why he's picking the New York Jets to win the Super Bowl, joined us for the first 30 minutes of the show. So go back and watch that if you didn't get a chance to catch it live. Today's Jake Asman show is presented by my friends at Liquid IV. Pour yourself a Liquid IV pouch in your cup of water, your bottle of water, and it's the equivalent of drinking 3 cups of water. My favorite flavor, I get asked this every time. I say it every time I talk about Liquid IV, once again, is lemon, lime, and strawberry. You can't go wrong with any of them, though. There's something for everyone. LiquidIV.com, promo code Jake Asman at checkout. You'll get yourself a 20% discount at Liquid IV. Plus, if you're someone who goes out, you drink, you work out, there's a million different ways you could use Liquid IV to stay hydrated. It helps, especially with hangovers. Can't recommend that enough. Let me enjoy some Liquid IV right now. All right. More calls right now. We're an hour in. 3 hours from now, we're back with a live recap of Jets OTAs when Robbie Sabo is set to join us. Joining us right now is a man who has himself quite a fine introduction.
Well, you know, I love the Yankees and the Jets, and to read the Super Chats are more than just a hat. Bobby.
Bobby.
Hey, how you doing? I think Mike Clay is very positive compared to Chris Canty, the negative person we have on ESPN, right? You agree with that? I don't like Chris Canty at all.
Well, I don't know. I don't think he's a bad human. I just think he had a very silly take.
Yeah, he calls Aaron Rodgers cancer and all that. So everybody was happy we drew Allen in the hole. He deserved it.
Yep, he did.
Yeah,
he did.
He better mind his own business today, too. He did call me a tool and a moron yesterday.
Yeah.
He did. So he's no more friend of me. He's enemy number 1.
Is he? Do you hate him more than Don Mattingly?
Oh, definitely. Hate more than Don Mattingly. I give Don Mattingly a break after dealing with this clown. Yep. I do have to. But I always said the Yankees had to lose yesterday, but we can't win them all, you know.
Yeah, tough night for Clay, but you know it was going to happen eventually.
Yeah, we can't win them all. It's like a marathon, not a sprint. I like King Wilski's takes here.
Oh, we love Losky. He's a legend.
And I thought, God, it was cute with the duck. I thought the duck was cute. I don't think he used it in the restaurant, though.
I would hope not.
3 o'clock, you got to show the cute OTAs on live. You go show the clips.
Maybe we'll have some clips.
Oh. What happened to our friend from Arizona? What's his name? I haven't seen him in a long time. Rudy, guy who looks like Rudy.
I'm not sure I know who you're talking about.
You know, Arizona. He was out there with you in Las Vegas. Oh, Las Vegas, I mean. He was in Las Vegas.
Oh, Jeff Parles?
Yeah, where's he? I miss him.
We'll get him on again. He joined us during our MegaCast weekend.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Come on. Well,
it was last month.
He's a good guy, isn't he?
Yeah, very good guy.
I like him. He's awesome. He likes me. He likes you. He likes everybody.
Yeah.
And Mr. Bones, he's off today. His day off from the shoe store today.
I feel like you know Bonesy's schedule every day.
Well, I know. He told me not to call in certain days. I did call in, and he wasn't there on time. So the other guy, I don't like calling him.
Have you spoken to his brother before?
Oh yeah, Joe likes me. I like Joe. Joe's cool. Yeah, Joe. We all got to get together to game this year. We have to go. Definitely have to go to a Jet game.
Yeah.
And then where are you? L5, you said?
Oh yeah.
Where's that compared to the stadium? So I know.
Right next to the stadium, in the parking lot.
Far away or close by?
Pretty close by.
Oh, okay. Because one time we were way, way back, and we had to take a bus.
No, you're right near the stadium. You just walk right in.
Oh, good. Yeah. We'll see you then. Yeah. But we'll see you at 3 o'clock, though.
Oh, yeah.
I like calling in these shows. You're awesome. Michael says hello again today.
Tell him I say hi.
I have problems getting on. It says he can't get on for some reason. He uses his tablet and he can't get on.
Tell him to use a computer.
I know. I told him to do that. Doesn't listen.
So, Bobby, what are you going to do between now and 3 o'clock?
Probably take a walk. It's beautiful outside.
Nice.
Yeah.
I noticed you moved the orange lawn chair.
Right? Oh, yeah. I had to get rid of it. That will be calling it.
Yeah.
Well, at least I'm trying to clean up a little bit, you know?
Yeah, it looks good.
Some spaces. I told you this place is small. It's very teeny. At least you have a bedroom in your apartment. I just have a bedroom. This is like...
That's all you need.
I know, but it's so small. That's why people ask me why I put this stuff in the back. I can't fit anywhere else.
Have you thought about moving?
Yeah, maybe down the road, me and my brother move back in together.
Oh, you guys are going to be roommates?
Yeah, we were before a couple of times.
Is he a good roommate?
Yes, he was an excellent one.
All right. Well, maybe we have something.
Yeah, we're going to be together soon. He lives in Guilford, Vermont, which is like 3 minutes away by cars. Not too far.
Can't wait.
Well, I love to talk and hate to type. Jake, when is your next show? Alan is a cartoon character. Bobby.
What a call from Bobby there. Touched on a lot of important topics. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. The big fella super chats us. Can we take another poll? Should Taylon Burks be sent to the hole? Guy is a troll and a clown. Perhaps we shall. Matthew with a super chat. Had to go back and watch it. Alan got sent into a pit with a lion. He wasn't ready for it. Not one bit. Bobby, you were looking real good in that hat. Yeah, Bobby Midnight absolutely crushed Alan yesterday. Alan trying to claim he didn't wish injuries on Knicks players. And Bobby pulled up a comment he made after Mitchell Robinson was ruled out for the season. Alan commented, Mitchell Robinson's done. Who's next? After he went on Boy Green's show and asked Boy Green to lift his hand to say, oh, you have more movement in your hand than Jalen Brunson does. Scumbag. Bobby Midnight owned your ass, Alan. Sluggo says, Bobby and Alan as roommates would be a great sitcom. I mean, look, Bobby might kill him. I don't know if we could do that. Don't know. Comments, questions, super chats will, in fact, cut the line. Taylon Burks writes in, Bobby suffers from the brain rot. Here's what we're going to do, Taylon, because you are probably one of the biggest losers that has ever commented in the history of the show. We'll see you in 24 hours. To the hole you go.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
See ya. More calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. Is he back at the park? Scott joins us now. Hello, Scott.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Scott.
Hi. One thing I wanted to say yesterday when I said, real clear, when I said, are we banging on Jody? In no way, shape, or form was it attack against you or the affiliates. I can't see the. Okay, yeah. It was no attack on you. Just I heard the poll question, the $53 million dead cap, and it's not all Saleh's fault. So don't take any offense to it if there was. Now, I wouldn't do that to you. If you can see behind me, there's a structure. That's where I work. So it's right across the street.
How was work yesterday?
Not too bad. Nice and cool. And hey, look at that. We're back. No, thank you. Yeah. Actually, this is cool too. They're just feeding. This is actually cool. Hey guys. Yeah. So the youngsters are born, but yeah, it's right across the street. But anyhow, yeah, we're back at the park. So what's up, man?
You called the show, Scott. You tell me.
Oh yeah. I said it early. I said, Alan, go to the hole. And you know what? We got to change the whole. Forget this 24-hour crap. We're the Jets. We take pain all the time. It's got to be like 48 hours, maybe a fortnight, maybe a week. There's got to be something in there. That's about it for today. A little bit of this. I didn't catch who was talking, but realistically, I just went to the gym. So OTA started. Our season starts. So I got to get back in gear. Got to get my fat ass into shape. But that's about it for today. Just calling to say hello and just to apologize if I offended you or anyone. And I'm glad Alan. I'm glad Bobby put him in his place. That's what I love. That shit. Awesome.
Well, Scott, you definitely didn't offend anyone. But
Okay.
my question to you is this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why do you need to be getting into shape for the Jet season? Are you a player on the team?
Yeah, aren't we all armchairs? No, it's just me personally. So last season I did. Dr. Mike Israetel will call it a mesocycle. I call it an odyssey. It's our season. So I spent 19 weeks, progressively overloading, just getting stronger, getting thicker, and building up. So, we're in OTA. So obviously I've been lifting is what I can. So yeah, it does. And that's right across. Hey, we're kind of busy. It's cool. So yeah, I am trying to get into shape.
So what are you cooking today at the restaurant? Any
No,
duck?
no, I'm not. Dude, no. We're out of rats. We're out of, No, I'm off Tuesdays, Wednesdays. So trying to
today's your
build
day
up
off.
here. Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesdays, I'll be off till further notice. So I'm there's nobody here, of course. I want to build up the subscribers, and I should go downtown, but I'm being lazy today.
Wait, what subscribers are you building up?
I don't know. Hopefully more for you, I guess. That's why we're here, Yeah.
Any Jet fans in the park today, Scott?
No, there's only 1, 2, 3, about 8, 10 people here on this side. Very slow.
You're going to go talk to them? I guess we'll never know. Thank you for the time, Scott. Excellent call as always. Hope people enjoyed the close-up shot of Scott as well. I mean, we had to go full screen for that one. Tremendous. Scott, keep us posted. Enjoy your day off. Jigga Man up next. Jiggy the Jet Man. What's up, Jiggy?
Hey, what's up, Jake? How you doing?
What's up, man?
I'm doing well, man. I just wanted to call in and say that if our roster was like on the Cowboys logo, everybody would be screaming Super Bowl for us right now. And it's the fact that we're the Jets that everybody in the media really doesn't want to give us our credit. And even like some of our own fans are kind of like hesitant to really like put trust in the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I truly believe, like, you look at the way our roster is set up and you look at our schedule, like, we truly can be a 13-win team, especially if we start off hot and beat San Fran. Like, I feel like we'll probably split the Dolphins and the Bills series and then probably lose 2 games that we really shouldn't, or, like, the Houston game might be a close one we might lose, and then lose a game we probably shouldn't, just, like, coming off a bye or something like that. But I really think that we have a chance to like win the AFC, not even just the AFC East,
Yeah. Look, if they win the division, you have a chance, right? You get into the playoffs, you have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, you got a shot. The key is health. And I truly think it's health and getting a home playoff game to start it off.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we don't 100% need a home playoff game. Like, I feel like Aaron Rodgers is the type of guy he can step in anybody's building and make it his own field. If he's in that mental phase that he can get into. But like having a home playoff game would be great just for like the Jets and the fans,
Yeah.
The atmosphere in that stadium would be electric.
Oh, it would be insane. And like the biggest thing besides just the atmosphere is, while they could go on a run as a wild card team, we've seen that with the Jets in their history. Like, you want to put yourself in the best possible position to maybe host an AFC title game. Even if the Jets aren't the 1 seed, say the Chiefs got picked off by a team. Well, you can't host any playoff games if you're a wild card team. You have to be a division winner. So you just want to give yourself the best possible chance. Make it as easy as possible. Win as many games as you can. Take advantage of this window. NY Jets Florida says, am I the only one driving and calling? Or am I not the only one driving and calling? I would say like 40% of our callers are in cars. It's wild. ISU writes in, is Scott out canavassing at that park trying to recruit more subscribers? Sounds like he was. NY Jets Florida says Scott's in witness protection. No, he's on his day off. He doesn't work Tuesdays, Wednesdays. He told you that. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is a man with a major announcement. It's his birthday, his day of birth. He came out of his mother's womb on this day. I don't know how many years ago. Dan, the Jet fan, joins us now. Happy birthday, Dan.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it. It was exactly 26 years ago. Just got back home from brunch with my mother and my grandmother. Anyways, I figured I'd let you and all the Jet fans out there know in this fall I'm going to be going to Orlando and transferring to the University of Central Florida.
There we go.
Can't wait.
UCF.
Yes, UCF Knights. Let's go.
Let's go. You and Leger Duzable got to get together.
Yes, absolutely. We'll do. Anyways, something else to let you know. The 3 games I'm attending this year, the game in Pittsburgh Sunday night with my dad, Miami and Jacksonville back-to-back weeks. Can't wait to make those 2 trips.
Dan, I will meet you probably at the Miami game out of those 3.
Really? All right, sounds good. I'll be there.
Can't wait, Dan. Can't wait. Happy birthday. All right, have a great day.
I appreciate it.
Well done, Dan. Congrats on the college transfer. Let's go Knights now for our guy, Dan. 26 years young. Love to see it. Ricky writes in, look at this roster. Jet fans you don't believe are either doubters or pouters. Or Alan, not a real Jets fan, just trolls. Do you think they air the show in the hole? Cartman writes in, does Scott wear a hairnet at work? You would have to ask him that. I'm not sure. John Lover writes in with a super chat. And that's it. It's just a super chat. Bang! Bang! I'll give you the bang because it's John Lover. Well done. David says, no Jake Asman show meetup in London. I plan on going to London. I'm working on some of the details now, actually, when I get off the air today. Got a call with someone in the UK. Big fella. Over under how many squat thrusts can Scott do? Unlimited. PD's watching on X, a.k.a. Twitter. A home playoff atmosphere, especially under the lights, would be insane. Oh, it'd be incredible. Are you kidding? Be one of the greatest moments of our lives as Jet fans. The first home playoff game in 20-something years? You kidding me? Bonesy says, where's K&D when you need to make it rain? K&D. We should encourage more people to become channel members, though. It's been a while since people made it rain. I have a feeling people's memberships are going to start to run out as we get closer to the end of the month. So hit the join button. Sluggo says, Jake, do you cook? Not well or often. B Show says, it's been 24 hours and I'm back, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, Dolphin fan B Show has arrived. Back from the hole. What dumbassery will he say next? VR has gifted a membership. Wow, we asked for it. Someone's getting it. Joe I, you received a membership from VR. Maybe we could get a chain going. If you get gifted a membership, pay it forward. We got one. Tom writes in, Scott's hips don't lie. They never have, they never will. Benny says, send him back to the hole. Well, he'll probably get himself sent back. B Show says, go Panthers. Carolina or Florida? Gary says, Jake, what do you typically eat? I could cook a little, but not much either. That's why I got married, for cooking and laundry. I mean, I eat a lot of Chipotle. That's obvious. But I like chicken. I like salmon. I like steaks. I love Italian food. Can't go wrong with pizza. Can't go wrong with a burger. I mean, I like most foods. So I love sushi. I got a ton. I'm sure your wife loves that you got married just for her cooking and laundry, though. That's great, Gary. Tom writes in, V-Man needs to teach Jake how to cook up some Puerto Rican cuisine. Does he, though, Tom? I don't know. David says, hit the like button. Yeah, if you're not hitting the like button, are you even a fan of the show? It's free. I'm going to plug my upcoming radio assignments while we have a moment here. I'm on Mad Dog Sports Radio this upcoming Sunday from 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern at Sirius XM, Channel 82. And I'm hosting on ESPN New York, filling in for Bart Scott and Alan Hahn on Bart and Hahn on Memorial Day from noon to 3 this Monday. So Jet fans, call in that show especially. I'll do plenty of Jets that day. By the way, I looked it up. I haven't checked if the Mets are playing on Memorial Day. How stupid is it that Major League Baseball doesn't have the New York Yankees playing on Memorial Day? And it's not the first time this has happened in recent years. Every Major League Baseball team should be playing on Memorial Day, July 4th, and Labor Day. Every single team in the league should play on those 3 days. It is ridiculous that not all 30 clubs are playing. You want to grow your sport? Play them on days when a lot of people can watch your sport, when people are out having barbecues. People maybe want to go to a game. Young kids can go to a game. They don't have school. They're not at camp maybe. I don't know, but you could grow the game that way. God, man, if I was Major League Commissioner, the first thing I would do is implement that rule. It's such an easy fix. Mets play the Dodgers, apparently, on Memorial Day. But the Yankees don't play. That's crazy to me. John Lover writes in, people need to leave Bobby alone. He's a good guy. Anyone else hear that static? StreamYard just glitched there. That was weird. Now it's back to normal. That was weird. Yeah, Bobby's the man. Come on. You say anything disparaging about Bobby Midnight, you're just a bad guy. Dan writes in with a super chat. Love the show, man. Thanks for the B-Day wishes. Darren says, congrats on the sex, Gary. Boomtown says, what's in your fridge right now? Some water, a Brita, some Red Bull, some ketchup, some other sauces. That's about it right now. Philly Noodles checks in. Malachi Corley, hit the like button, everybody. He looked good in the clip I just saw. I saw my post. Mike says, Jake, can you get on DiPietro and Rothenberg? We need you talking Jets. I filled in for those guys for a week in December. I'm hoping this summer I'll fill in again. I've never filled in for either Rick or Dave and done the show with one of them, though. When I filled in last summer, it was me and Dan Grasso who did a show together. And then when I filled in December, it was me and Maria Marino. But hopefully, I'll get to do a show with Rick, and I'll wear my Islander jersey when I was a kid. That's like a kid's medium when we do the show. It'll be funny. Darren says, vodka in the freezer at Jake's. Let's put it like this. I have more alcohol than I do food items. Andrew says, congrats on the sex to Taylon Burke's mom. Thank you. Benny says, Memorial Day going to be boring without the Yanks. Going to go to the beach. You better be listening to 98.7 from noon to 3 on your way. Tom says, Rick is the Bobby Bonilla of hockey with the yearly payout. I mean, Rick's got a nice situation, right? Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Before we wrap, we'll do an Ask Me Anything here for a couple of minutes. Doesn't have to be football related. MC says, Jake, you're talented at this. Someday we will lose you full-time to the right gig. I'll tell you what, guys. This show's not going anywhere. I've been asked this a couple of times. The way my business is ever changing, you need to have multiple jobs. I don't ever see a scenario where I'm just only doing one thing. That's not the way the business is anymore. Look at the station I do work for with 98.7. Michael K does the Yankees, and he's the afternoon drive host. Peter Rosenberg is on Hot 97 in the morning, and he's doing the afternoon show. That's unheard of to do morning drive and afternoons, even if it's on two different stations. Don LaGreca does Rangers play-by-play. He did Jets pre and post for 15 years. Alan Hans on MSG doing the Knicks. Bart Scott's on SNY and does stuff for Jets.com with content there. You need to have multiple gigs. Right now, I have 4 radio stations I do shows for. ESPN locally here in New York, ESPN National, Mad Dog Radio, and now NFL Radio. And I do this YouTube show. Gotta have, and I work very part-time with Knicks Fan TV too, with CP, Alex, and those guys. Gotta have multiple jobs. Gary says, Jake, I'm strongly considering starting a Nets channel. What advice can you give me? Don't talk about Brock Bowers. I don't know, man. Be consistent in your coverage. Have a good thumbnail, a good title. And hopefully Net fans who are out there that are looking for coverage because they don't get a lot from the main outlets in New York because of the disparity and the amount of fans they have versus the Knicks, maybe they'll tune in. Brandon writes in, always appreciate the great Jets content. Fan for two plus years in Tampa. Thoughts on which Jet would win a WWF-style Royal Rumble? The first answer I got in my head, Brandon, and thanks for the kind words. The first answer I got would be Michael Clemens. I don't know. Sal says, how do I get my own green lettering back? Become an Asmaniac. NY Jets Florida says, where the heck is Lane? The Lane train picks his spots. You got to respect that. Lane train knows he doesn't want to oversaturate himself to the audience. He wants his appearances to remain special. Ladies and gentlemen, death taxes and Jay Quest doing yard work. He writes in, just got done with the yard work. Of course you did. Darius says, who you got winning the finals? I'm rooting for the West. I don't care who wins. I prefer Minnesota. I'd be happy for that tortured city, right? I think it'd be a good sign for the Jets if the Minnesota Timberwolves could deliver a championship. I'd be happy for my guy A-Rod, who's one of the owners of the team. Dean says Lane's mourning the loss of Knoble. Brandon says Lane's at Knoble's memorial. He's probably right about that. Matthew says pineapple on pizza. No, thank you. Not in on that. Bonesy says, what's your favorite Rocky movie? Creed 1 through 3. Well, I can only pick one? That's a really tough question. I'll probably go with the original Rocky. I did like the Creed movies. I didn't see the most recent one, I don't think. I've only seen the first 2. I'll tell you what. I think Rocky Balboa, the one that came out in like 06, 07, I think it was 06. I think it's a criminally slept on movie. My dad loves that movie because he always loves that one clip where Rocky's talking to his son outside the restaurant about life's about how hard you could get hit and keep going forward. Steve Asman has sent me that like meme 1,000 times. But I think it's a very good movie. But I love all the Rocky movies besides like, I guess like Rocky 5 or 6, whatever the one was. I don't know. Big fella, have you met Nina Drama in your UFC coverage? I have not. I think I'm going to go to the UFC for the Poirier fight in Newark, though. Any of my listeners going to be there? I've never been to the Rock before. Kevin says, which starter leaves the rotation when Cole returns? I hope none of them. I hope they just go to a 6-man. FPP says, hit the join button. Someone might gift you a membership. I don't think it works that way, but I appreciate it. Genergy says, at work, lunch break almost over. We'll try to call into the evening show. Hell yeah. David says, what days does Buffalo Jet fan come on the show? He's supposed to come on every Wednesday. I got to check in with him to see if he's good for a spot tomorrow because he's been unavailable the last couple of weeks. Any thoughts on Jet Central joining the show? Yeah, I like Ian a lot. He's been on the show before. We'll get him on again. Kevin says Nestor if I had to pick one. I doubt they're taking Nestor out of the rotation. All right. Couple more calls here, and then we'll wrap. Johnny Boy's up next. What's up, Johnny?
Yeah, what up, Jake? How you holding up, man?
Good, man. What's going on?
Hey, so you said ask you questions, right? So I'm just going to ask two. If you weren't doing what you were doing right now, what would that be? And second, what is the talent that you have that nobody truly really knows about?
I had to think about the second one. I don't know. I feel like this is my talent, so it's like tough to come up with another talent.
I mean, can you like break dance or
no? Definitely cannot break dance.
All right, those were my questions for today, man.
I got to think. Oh, you're putting me on the spot. It's a tough one. Good questions. What was the first question again? I already forgot.
If you weren't doing what you're doing right now, right, which is your profession and whatnot, what would be the second thing that you would do? If you weren't doing this, what would you do?
I think I'd still want to do something in sports, Johnny. I think I'd be good in PR or a good manager. I'm not good with math, but I think I'd be good with like giving good advice to athletes and aligning them with the right brands and helping them do the right interviews on the right shows, not the ones that you think are big shows because they appear like they have a big following and they actually don't. I think I would want to do something where I'd work with professional athletes because I think I would do well at that. Can I juggle? No, I cannot. I got to think of I feel like you guys know a lot about me from this show, so I don't know what I could say I'm talented at that people wouldn't know. I'm talented at eating Chipotle, but everyone knows that. Come on, NY. David says, what's your fix for the Mets? I mean, their best players got to play better. There isn't a fix. They weren't all in this year. I think their plan was to kind of hover around contention, and then maybe if they're in it, they'll make a move at the trade deadline. But they're just not good enough. They're not better than the Phillies. They're not better than the Braves. So you're talking about a wild card spot. And because of the third wild card, if you hover around 500, you'll be in the mix late in the year. And they're going to hope they get hot in September. It can maybe make a push. That's kind of the spot they're in. Gary's up next. Hello, Gary.
This Mets team is such trash. You're lucky you don't do a Mets show because I would call in every day trashing on this team. I hate this team. It's not even that bad of a team. Like, if you look at the roster, it's not that bad. It's not better than the Braves, but it's not a bad roster. It's just there's something seriously wrong with this team. And clearly, Buck Showalter was the problem. Fixing him solved everything. Firing him solved everything. I hate this team so much, Jake. But
what were you expecting from them this year, though? That's the thing.
500-ish. Like
they still probably could do that. It's still early enough.
I'll be shocked if they win even one more game. They are so bad. Like you said, who do they play on Memorial Day? They lose to the Dodgers on Memorial Day. It's not who do they play. It's who beats them today. I hate this team.
They're 21-26 right now. I mean, they got it. They got to start playing better. I agree, but like that third wild card spot is so bad. Like they'll still probably have a shot at it.
But it's like the Nets. You can get the last playing spot. No, you can't because you'd have to get hot to do that. Right?
Yeah, but
the Mets can't get hot. They're horrible. They're terrible.
But they did get hot. They started 0-5, and then they won like 6 in a row or 7 of 10, whatever it was. Like, and here's the thing: unlike basketball, where like outside of like the Heat, I guess last year, where they weren't truly an 8 seed. They just don't care about the regular season. And Jimmy Butler was a top 10 player a year. Like the Heat are a rare example, but like other than like other sports. Right? Football, you see it a little more, but definitely you can in basketball. You brought up the Nets. Like, you don't see 8 seeds go on a real run. In baseball, you could be the third wild card and you can win the World Series. Like we see, the Arizona Diamondbacks were an afterthought. They went all the way to the World Series last year. So, like, that's the difference.
If your pitching gets hot, right, like you're as good as today's starting pitcher in baseball. Yeah, so it's different. But, like, the Nets, I think they have one of the 3 worst rosters in basketball. So, like, what are you doing? Like, you're not winning with this team. The Mets roster's not all that bad. Like, the stats not great, but, like, they have the lineup's pretty good. I just don't understand why they're this bad. Like, they can barely score a run. They lose every night. When they do have a lead, they blow the lead. It's just, I did not think it was going to be this bad. And there's really, I don't see any hope in sight. What is, Alonso has 39 hits this year. That's what he has. He got one yesterday. It's horrendous. Like, everyone on the team hits 220. They don't hit home runs anymore. It's just painful. It's like, how do you expect to score any runs?
Well, I mean, they're not a great team, but their best players got to hit. Like, what happened to Jeff McNeil? He now stinks. He used to be a batting title champion.
Horrible. I love McNeil too, but it's like, it's horrible. Like, and it's not. It's the Nets are awful. The Nets roster is trash, right? So it makes sense. This doesn't make sense why they're this bad. I just hate this team.
They should sign Brock Bowers. He would help.
That would help. That would help. He can play third. Can't get any worse than that. Yeah, I had 2 questions. So I'm going to be in New York this summer, and I'm looking for pizza recommendations.
I'm going to meet you, Gary. This is going to be wild.
Could happen. So I'm looking for pizza recommendations.
Where in New York are you going to be?
I'm going to be in Long Island. I'm going to be in the city, and I'm also going to be in North Jersey, like Newark area. So if anyone in those regions have pizza recommendations, I'm all ears.
All right, Long Island, I would recommend. My favorite place on Long Island is Little Vincent's in Huntington. It's cash only. Get the cold cheese slice.
Okay, cash only is a good sign. If the place is cash only, that means they can turn away business. That means the cash only is a really good sign.
It is a Long Island staple. That is my favorite place.
Okay, I will absolutely go there. And then Ricky recommended Let Industry. I guess that's how you say it. I've heard other people say that too. So those are the 2 places that are top of my list right now.
Definitely. John's on Bleecker Street is another one of my favorites. And then
I like John's on Bleecker. I think it's overrated. I think Totono's in Brooklyn is better. I think Grimaldi's is better. I'm not saying it's bad. It's really good. Like, it's better than anything I can get here by a mile. But
believe me, do I know about pizza in Texas? Trash.
Yeah, it's not good. So when I go to New York, the only thing I really like to eat is pizza, bagel, cannoli.
I also got to, I do. Here's a spot not enough people are talking about. Honestly, I'm guessing you're looking for like authentic New York slice, right?
Yeah.
So right outside the Garden, there's this place called Sbarro's. Have you thought about that?
What it was WFAN or was it was who was it that thought you were being serious when you said that?
It was our morning show on 98.7, Dave and Rick.
They know that you're a New Yorker though, right?
Yeah, but Dave is clueless, so it went right over his head. Rick thought I was kidding, like he eventually got it, and then their producer Ray Santiago, who does a great job, he's like, I'm pretty sure he's quoting The Office. Yeah, it's a bit. It's a Steve Carell line as the Michael Scott in The Office.
So I got 2 other questions, right? First, can you ask Rick DiPietro? That's how you say his name, right? He was the goalie for the Islanders.
Yes, first pick in the draft. Yep.
Can you ask him? Because I have to confirm a story, which I never believed. Can you ask him if he had a pet bulldog in around 2006?
I don't know how I would ask him this, but I could try and figure that out for you.
So I had an apartment in 2000. I was still seeing this girl at Hofstra. So I was living in Brooklyn and driving back and forth, and there was a pet store in East Meadow on Hempstead Turnpike. And I was me and my roommate were gonna get a dog. So I go in, I find this bulldog. Like, that's an awesome bulldog. So I drive back to Brooklyn to get my roommate to show him the dog. We get to the dog, and the dog's gone. I was like, what happened to the dog? And the lady in the pet store said Rick DiPietro. And I don't watch any hockey. I kind of knew the name. And she said Rick DiPietro came in and bought the dog in the hour and a half that you were gone. I was like, that's the goalie for the Islanders. She's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm not sure I'm buying this story. So if you could ask him if he had a pet bulldog.
Okay, I will ask him for you.
And then the last question is for your thumbnails on your channel.
Yes.
What? How do you make them? What do you use? Like what app do you use?
Check out the website canva.com and familiarize yourself with like how to do it.
That's all you use. Canva. I know Canva. You just use Canva.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how to use Photoshop or any of that. I'm a radio. People are like, oh, you know how to do all this stuff. I learned. I'm a radio guy. That's I treat this YouTube show like it's a radio show on camera. That's why we do calls. That's why I do a monologue. That's why I read comments as if it's a text line or it's tweets. So I basically tried to implement what I know and apply it to YouTube.
So you just have a template and then you like change the picture and the title kind of thing on your canvas?
Yeah, they actually give you, I don't use these. I like figured out how to like make my own, but they actually will give you like example YouTube thumbnail templates. So you could just change the color and add your logo and other pictures. You could figure it out.
That's good. So you can make real legit thumbnails on Canva. That's all right. That's good. That's a good advice. Appreciate it.
Gary, we appreciate you. Thank you. And just for good measure, because why not?
Did somebody say Brock Bowers?
Love it. Gary coming to New York this summer. Buckle up, boys and girls. Gary, if you can make it to my Long Island event on June 20th, we'll get you in. Details to come on that, folks. Keep that date open. VR's up next. What's up, VR?
What's up, Jake? I just wanted to co-sign Sabaros as a spot. Right across the street from the Garden. You can't go wrong.
Oh,
and,
the best.
So,
Authentic, exactly what you look for.
Yes, exactly. I wanted to get your take on the Justin Jefferson signing outside of One Jets Drive and like the fans going like crazy about that. What was your take on that?
Well, I thought it was weird, and then you learn the Vikings owners are in New Jersey. So like I think
Florham Park.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what was going on there. I don't think the Jets are acquiring Justin Jefferson, so I haven't talked about it because I think it's a waste of time.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I was saying that this morning on Boy Green Show. I was like, yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Let me guess. Paul was going, zoinks, oh, Justin Jefferson. I'm like, Paul, calm down. Settle down. It's not happening. Don't get your hopes up.
I'm
going to lose my gosh darn bananas.
I love him for it. I love him for that stuff, man. It's just so cool. Coffee.
Holy shnikey.
Yes,
Boy Green's great. I can't, did he do a whole show on this? I can't do it.
Oh, no, he actually got the guy in who took the picture on his show, which is like insider information, breaking news. The guy who took the picture and he came on is actually a reporter. It was really, really good.
That's funny. All right. Well, okay. I'll have to check it out.
So I also have breaking news for you, Jake. So Matt O'Leary just posted a team of Jets content creators, and you did not make the cut. Thoughts on that? Yes.
I thought he listed me as the kicker or punter.
No, I didn't see that. I saw just the offense, and for instance, like Richie is a wide receiver, O'Leary is the tight end, Joe Caproso is another wide receiver. My co-host on Sunday Shenanigans, Nick Shine, is left guard, and his co-host for Chaos is the right guard. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but I didn't see you, or he didn't list the defense yet. So maybe you're a cornerback or a safety or something like that. I can see you there.
I think you're behind. Hold on. Let's go through this together here. Let's look at this. I'm going to screen share my. Wait, hold on. I screwed this up. Share screen. Select Windows.
Nope, you're absolutely right. Now I just went to his page. Yeah, you are the kicker or the punter.
Can you see my screen right now?
Let me see. Yes, but you're like kind of. It's going into like.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Inspired by Talking Jets show yesterday, a Jets content creator roster. The offense, left tackle, NY Jets Dan, physical specimen, needs some athleticism at right tackle to move. Left guard, proud NY Jet fan. Big fella up front, has nastiest to his game. Center, Dom C, has the size and intelligence you want at center. Jets Chaos is the right guard, doesn't move well, could be a liability in pass pro, but should do damage in the run game. Right tackle, Talk Jets radio, strong, needs to anchor down the right side of the line. Quarterback, Jets Central, calm, cool, collected, face of the franchise. Ian's also handsome, and I have a theory that the better looking quarterback you are, the better chance you have to maybe be successful. Running back, if he's a crafty as a runner, he's with his tweets. We're golden. That's for NYJ Matt. Caparoso, D3 wide receiver legend, possession receiver. He's wide receiver 1. NYJ Mike, good size, has caught countless passes in the parking lot at Jets tailgates. Slot receiver Richie from Jets Media needs some speed in the slot. Tight end himself, too slow to play receiver, but has size. Oh, he has the full graphic here.
Yes.
So one glaring omission: Will Parkinson played wide receiver at Cortland. He should be one of the starting receivers here. You got to put him and Caparoso as the starting receivers. They have D3 experience.
Now is Will Parkinson? He's a big guy too, right? Like he's just as tall as Matt O'Leary. Could he play tight end as well? Second tight end?
Perhaps. Let's do the defense. All right. Edge, Will Parkinson. So he's putting Will on the defensive side.
Okay.
D3 started tight end. He also played receiver too. I guess tight end, whatever. And athleticism on the defensive side of the ball. Interior defensive. By the way, this just shows you how many Jet content creators there are, because this is insane that we could fill out a full 22 roster plus special teams. Tyson Rauch is the interior defensive line. Great motivator. Could stay on the field forever. Fighting skills will translate to line play. I like that. Green Beans, our other interior defensive lineman. He's our Joe Klecko, all-around team player who screams nasty D lineman.
That's a
Buffalo
great
Jet fan. Edge, great size. I think does jiu-jitsu, which should help. Linebacker is Gunny. I'm joining Gunny's show tonight, by the way, folks. Military background, leader, size, and athleticism. Everything you want at linebacker. Gunny was a Marine, man. Gunny's definitely like our CJ Mosley. He's definitely the captain of our D.
Yes, sir.
Joe Blowett is our other linebacker. Great football IQ. Cornerback is Ryan. Track background. Needs speed to keep up with receivers. Our guy Jigga is our other corner. He's versatile. Feels like he has good size for an outside corner.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, slot corner. Tigo. Matt Milano may have ended his QB career, but we need another high football IQ guy for the defense. Does Tigo look like Mike White? Is that the joke? I can't see what he looks like here.
Oh, Tigo? No, he doesn't look like Mike White at all. Yeah.
Okay. Strong safety, Robbie Sabo. That makes sense. Former safety. Free safety, Michael Nadia getting lanky ball hawking free safety vibes. All right. Then finally, special teams. Kicker / punter at Jake Asman. Sorry, Jake. Long snapper, Boy Green, screams core special teamer. Jets talk 24/7. Kickoff returner / punt returner. See track background. All right. You know what? I think Matt's onto something here, and I'll tell you why. My nickname, back in the day, is the Red Leg Rocket.
The Red Leg Rocket.
So I'll be your kicker or punter.
There you go. If you ever retire, I'll take that position.
I'll say this: if you're a Jet content creator and Matt O'Leary didn't include you, you probably got to retire.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I mean, Matt O'Leary going up and in. If he didn't include you on this,
when Boy Green, when he snaps the ball, does he go zoinks?
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. All right, VR. Well, thank you for bringing this to everyone's attention.
Thank you, Jake. Always a great show. Thank you. And one more thing. I did, please pay it forward. If you did receive a, future reference, something for the show for Jake or whatever, subscription, go ahead and pay that forward. We appreciate that. And as always, great show. Love you, man. Peace out.
Appreciate you. All right. Joining us right now before we wrap is a man who just received his new Jets hat. He already received one, but we couldn't just get this guy one Jet hat. He needed two. Bobby Midnight. Yeah.
I like it. It's nice.
It's the new logo. We had to take care of you.
And I'm like Johnny. I didn't take off the peel yet. The sticker.
Looks good.
Yeah, looks good. Thank you very much. I went outside and saw it.
There it is.
I appreciate it. That was very nice.
Bobby, anything for you?
Well, anything for you too. I'm gonna buy you a beer when I go down there.
I can't wait.
Yeah, you drink beer, right? You said.
Oh yeah. Now you have options, Bobby. You could wear the Yankee hat. You could wear either one of your two Jet hats.
Yankee game, I'll wear the Yankee hat, and then if I go to Jet game, I'll wear the Jet hat.
I mean, that's a great hat, Bobby. I love it on you.
Yeah, I like it too. I like the color.
I'm glad you like it, Bobby.
I'm a blue hat, but I like it.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Midnight. He's got his hat. Tremendous. Wheelan Book writes in, Jake's a slot receiver. I've seen video of his routes. Damn right. They didn't call me Wayne Asman Crabette for nothing. That's the second time I've hit a sound drop and it's made a static noise. What the hell? Weird. All right, one last call and then we're done because I'm coming back shortly. But first, a super chat because I cut the line. K&D. Someone asked for you earlier, K&D. Salute my G Jake. Big up my guys and the few ladies in the chat. I'm a few videos behind because work's been hectic. Plus getting my son ready for his football tournament in Virginia Beach this weekend. Hey, that's awesome, K&D. Hope all is well. Good luck to your son. Tremendous. King Lowski, did you see the Brunson news? Oh, God, what is this? I did not see it yet. I've been doing the show. What happened? Did they announce he needs, like, surgery or something? What is the Brunson news? Don't do this to me, King Lowski. You're scaring me. What happened? Oh, the report that he's going to take. Oh, I'm just seeing this. Steve Popper of Newsday. All indications are Brunson's willing to sign a 4-year, $156 million contract extension, provide 5 more years of certainty in New York, rather than waiting until next summer for a 5-year, $270 million extension. I mean, if he does that, I mean, build the statue. I mean, no one would fault him if he waited a year and got the supermax he deserves. But if he takes less money to give the Knicks financial flexibility to surround him with more stars, he's the closest thing this town has had to Derek Jeter since Derek Jeter. If he does that. I love it, man. I love it. I hope it's true. We'll see. You scared me, though, King, when you said in all caps, did you see the Brunson news? I got scared. Like he suffered another injury or it's more serious. And either way, he's the best contract in the NBA for at least another year. Phil, wrap us up. What's up, Phil?
Hey, what's up, man? It's been a while. Malachi or die. I got to say, I don't think Gary should be allowed to have a cold slice for his Brock. You just don't allow it. It must be banned. You should send a photo of him now so they're aware for the summer to not let him get a slice. Oh, and the other question I have for you is, what do you think about Julius Randle and Mitch? You think we should ride with them? I'll give you my take, and then you cut me off. But I want to say I think Lauri Markkinen and whatever picks they want for Julius Randle. I'd rather take his upside and his younger age.
I don't know if I don't know if that is if he's that much better of a player than Randle. I want Randle to be a part of this if possible. If you could clearly upgrade, then yeah, he's the expendable piece because you were the 2 seed basically without him for most of the year. So it just shows you how good the team already is. So you're trying to get to another level. But yeah, I in a way, I kind of feel bad for Julius because I think he was playing the best ball of his career before the injury. And he didn't have to be the guy on this team. That was Brunson, and he would have helped so much. And with OG and Randle healthy, they went 15-2 in January. That was a pretty big sample size.
Yeah, it makes you pull back kind of that thought. That's why I say Lauri Markkinen, because listen, Durant's not coming. I don't want Booker. I don't want anything that ruins the core of the team. So I think like a piece like Markkinen would be one. And the other thought I had was, it's like leaving me for a second here. With Mitch, if you get another big, that's why Markkinen's 7 foot, so it gives you some play there. But if OG for some reason does not want to take like a cheaper deal, with that Brunson news is huge though. First off, because it now opens up the books to possibly keep Hartenstein and OG.
Correct.
That's my take. If you can't keep like everyone, who would you expend? You know what I mean? Like,
I love Mitch, and I love that he was here for the 21 seasons, and he never could stay on the floor. And you already have OG, who OG misses 30 games a year too, and it's like Mitch is awesome when he plays. Hartenstein's a better player.
Yes.
If you could get off the Mitch contract to try and keep Hartenstein, I think you got to do it. In an ideal world, you bring them all back, but that's not realistic with the NBA.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I like Mitch. I think he's the guy you got to look to move if it means you got to keep Hartenstein.
I say Miles Bridges is like the kicker, and if OG's like, I want max, and we're like, not happening, buddy. Miles Bridges, literally, I looked at the stats today. He's just not the best defender. That's it. Which is huge for Tibbs. I get it. But if you can rotate Bridges in with another player like Bogdanovich, I think you're kind of okay. And you can split the hairs between those two players. Plus, you get two players instead of one getting injured. If one gets injured, the other guy fills in for his spot, which was the problem that we had when we had too many injuries. So if you take out OG because of his contract could be too inflated and bloated, then give me Bridges and what's his name, Bogdanovich. I feel okay with that. Please, Mitch, for God, he's got to go. Mitch Robinson's got to go. I can't take it.
OG needs to be on this team. He's too valuable. He's one of the best defenders in the NBA. You need him. You got to just roll the dice that he can stay healthy. But you don't want too many guys that if you have the conversation if they're healthy. But OG is too good.
Yeah.
They're going to pay him. They made this deal knowing they were going to extend him. Like his agent is the GM son of the Knicks. Like Sam Rose represents OG. So they're going to pay him, Phil. So the question is going to become, can they keep Hartenstein? And then what star is available? And is it worth including Randall in that deal? Or do you maybe see it through at least going into next year and see what this team could do when they were the best team in the NBA when all three of those guys were actually healthy and still finished as a 50-win team and the 2 seed? I mean, that's the question. On that note, that's going to end our show. I do want to read a couple tweets I'm seeing here that we're going to cover with Robbie Sabo because he's at this practice going on, the OTA practice at Florham Park. Aaron Rodgers just threw it behind Garrett Wilson, and Garrett impressively caught it anyway, turning his whole body in the opposite direction. Sauce Gardner with a great diving pass breakup while covering Garrett Wilson, forced an Aaron Rodgers incompletion. Tyron Smith is just stonewalling dudes in team drills. Aaron Rodgers with a perfect laser to the middle of the field to Xavier Gibson for a touchdown in 11-on-11. Gibson was heavily covered too. Aaron Rodgers is 7 for 7 in team drills, 2 of 2 in 11-on-11, 5 for 5 in 7-on-7. There's your Jets OTA porn, folks. Tom says, Jay, could you have gone to today's OTA? Yes, I could have, but I had things to do. To be honest, I don't have a car, so I'd have to go to Long Island, get a car, and then drive to Florham Park. I'm good. Got to do the show and everything else. One more for you. I will be at training camp, though, a lot. It's already in the works. Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson for a short touchdown, draped in coverage by C.J. Mosley. Wilson celebrated by immediately shooting the football like a basketball. I love Garrett, man. Dano says, Garrett's been primed to catch bad passes for 2 years. Ha! It's true. It's true. Anyway, we'll be back in a little bit. Roughly 3, maybe later. I got to check in with Robbie. Hackett and Ulbrich are speaking today, so we'll figure all that out. All right, stay tuned for updates. Get on the Patreon. I'll have details of a Long Island meetup potentially coming later today. I'm trying to finalize it. It will be finalized soon. But once again, I'm going to confirm it right now. Keep the date, June 20th, open for an event in Hicksville on Long Island. It's going to be fun. There'll be drinks, food, and potentially an appearance by a current Jet player. I'm finalizing all this in the coming days, and we're going to raise money for charity too, so it's going to be awesome. Keep that date open. More info to come. All right, hit the like button. We're done. Robbie Sabo will join us. Can't wait to get his thoughts on Rodgers slinging it at practice, baby. Let's go. We're coming for that ass, TD Fins Talk.
Dolphin fans, are you really feeling like this team can compete with the Jets this year? Our only hope with the Jets is hoping Aaron Rodgers is for some reason done lost it. The Jets are loaded. They don't have a single hole on the entire roster now. A single hole. They just like, hey, we having fun. We getting depth for the future. Like, they're building for the future with a roster that's complete with no hole. And they already got a little depth. Y'all the future. Y'all just gonna have to sit back and chill.